Hello and good afternoon to all of you. Here we have today the 35th conference, Pan-European Conference on Digital Education. My name is Blanca Tatzer and I will be the moderator of the conference, and I'm coming from Primera Courses and STEP Institute. So here you can see the other three ladies. Alexia, who are you and what is your role in your organization?
Hello, so I'm Alexia. I live in Brussels and I'm working at TADA since several years as a pedagogical coordinator and also pedagogical team manager. I'm also working on other part, but that is not interesting for today. And I will talk about our pedagogy, our way of doing things, and our collaboration with STEP on those things.
Thank you very much. Then Patrizia, you are coming from DANTE.
Yes, hello and good afternoon to everybody. I am Patrizia. I am coming from Adult Education Institution DANTE. My name is Italian, an Italian name, but I'm coming from Rijeka, Croatia. And DANTE also is in Rijeka, Croatia. And I am in this institution, I am Italian language teacher and project coordinator for the Erasmus Plus projects.
Yes, and one of them you will present it today that we were delivering together, yeah? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Andrea is still in Croatia, but on totally different part from Osijek.
Yes, I'm pretty far away from Patrizia. So my name is Andrea, and I work as a project manager in an adult education institution, Studium. Studium has 5 centers across Croatia, and I work in Osijek.
Thank you very much. In the meanwhile, also Laura joined us. Laura, welcome. Hello to Spain.
Hello.
Hello. Can
this you tell Laura Vázquez?
Yes. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your role in your organization?
So I'm Laura Vázquez. I'm chief of study, deputy chief of study in my school, and also a French teacher. And I'm in charge normally in Erasmus projects in my school. So that's all.
Yes, thank you. That's all for the beginning. And now we will see what is waiting for us today. So we have a fine program. Alexia will start at first with a presentation of TADA innovative model of the weekend schools for vulnerable students. This is one of the projects where STEP was also partner, and we are very, very lucky to be here. Then we follow with 3 presentations from another project. It's Flow project, also an Erasmus K2 project. So Laura will have a case from the Flow project. She will talk about using digital tools in language learning and also about coaching a little bit. Then Patrizia Pitacco will tell us a little bit about easy drama learning because they are specialists in this field. And we round up the whole conference with Andrea's presentation on gamification in adult education. Wonderful. We already uploaded the presentations on the Facebook group, Pan-European Conference on Digital Education, so you can download them and follow them also on your computer or on mobile phone. So thank you very much to the Erasmus Plus program. which supported this conference during 2 projects with TADA, and another project is Flow. Also the certificates of attendance are available. You can see the link in which you request the certificate of attendance, and this is in the video description below. And I will also put the link into the comments. So that's all for the beginning. Welcome all of you. Now we have, wow, almost 200 teachers who are following the conference. So Alexia, let's roll on. TADA, so Alexia was also in Ljubljana together with her colleague Jaap. And the one thing that amazed me most about their organization is that they actually work with teenagers, and they somehow convince them to visit their weekend schools for 3 years in a row. So let's see how now. Alexia, please share with us your magic stick.
Yeah, thank you for hosting me to talk about this. So TADA, the idea of TADA, we exist since 10 years, and the idea is to build a more inclusive society, and we want to build bridge across different parts of the society. First, the children from vulnerable neighborhood of Brussels, and then professionals for a lot of different sectors, medical, lawyer, ICT, all those things. Why we want to do this? It's based on a model that exists in the Netherlands, EMC Weekend School, but we adapted a lot to Brussels and needs of the Belgian citizens. And we saw that the schools are not always able to play their role as a social elevator, and other part of the society also plays in that difficulties. So we see that teenagers with that kind of socially vulnerable background are really have more chance to finish secondary school with delay, to drop out from school very early, and to become unemployed at the end. So that's a big problem in our society, and we can see that our model is working with the weekend school, that I will explain just after, because we can see now that a similar group of our kids has 3 times more chance to leave school earlier than our kids at TADA. That's a bit the idea, and our vision is to focus on what can be done. So that's really important for us to check that and to prevent whether not curing something. So that's why we're starting from 10 years old, but we continue for a long life thing. And we want to empower underprivileged teenagers to prevent school demotivation and negative consequences, as I've just said. So we want to build an inclusive society with more educational equality. How we're doing that? We have 4 big objectives at TADA with the kids we are working with. We want to broaden their perspectives so we can show what they can become later, and we want them to become more motivated, to have more self-knowledge, know more about what they want to do in life. And by doing also a lot of interactive workshops, they can develop their horizontal or life skills and deepen their knowledge of society, so we can make more connection between that. What we are doing concretely a weekend school. So every Saturday we're hosting a lot of kids to discover a job. It can be being a nurse, being a lawyer. It really depends on our curriculum for each year. So they're coming for 3 years every Saturday, and they do interactive workshops with professionals, real people that are coming to explain and to play around their jobs. Then we have the alumni network. It's really important for us to have continuity for their parcours. So we are also inspiring adults. Like today, we want to inspire people to tackle education inequality. Then I will check if there's question. Do not hesitate. But about our impact, we're now hosting 1,500 youngsters in a weekend school or in the alumni network. And we can also do that thanks to 7,500 volunteers, mostly guest teachers that are coming to present their jobs, but also other types of volunteers. And we want to inspire society in general. That's why we are coaching educational professionals, or we inspired 21 more or less different initiatives inspired by our model or by our pedagogy. That is our code of conduct. So I've explained why we're doing this and what we're doing concretely, but the how, there are several different parts. That's how we want to work together with my colleagues, but also with other organizations and also with the kids, of course. But the two different parts I want to focus on today, it's the growth mindset and also the solution-focused approach that we want to pass on to the kids and to the different people we're working with. Here you can see our conductor. That's our way of showing the role of the pedagogical coordinators, the people that are on the field with the kids, and they're coordinating the different aspects of the weekend school every Saturday by managing the class management, implicating parents, finding and coaching the guest teachers that are coming, and building the different workshops for the different kids. How we make course, that's also a big part of our job. It's making different courses about different sectors, domain, and for that we have created Canvas. So that's the idea of discovering an area of a job. Like, okay, we have ICT, we have all the objectives of TADA in mind. What is included in that sector? And why is it important to present it to the kids? Then we search for different profiles. Okay, what kind of guest teachers I need to show that to the kids? Which horizontal skills they will develop throughout the workshops, and what kind of knowledge they need to know. I'm a kid of 10-year-old in Brussels. What do I have to know about the ICT jobs? That is an example. Voila. So we discussed the ICT Canvas, and we had the occasion to discuss it with STEP and their partners. It was really nice to have interesting exchange about it. And we had several lessons, things that we want to focus on more. For example, focus on the modern life skills and be more close to the universe of the children. For example, using a smartphone instead of a computer, if you want to do something to edit an app, create an image, things like that. The continuity, like I said, it's really important for us in the different projects at TADA, but in a course, for example, 3 Saturdays of ICT, it's important also to have an ongoing project, like they have to create an app in 3 different Saturdays. We have also different digital skills in different courses. So it's important to focus on that and to have more crossover across the different courses at TADA. We have environment, but we can make advertising with different things in environment. We can be more entrepreneur in the environment things, and we can put more digital skills in different courses. That's really important for us to focus on because digital are everywhere. We discussed also more touchy topics that we are addressing with the kids, like cyberbullying, fake news, things that we want to address with our kids, but that we tend to address just by talking, but there is some methodology. We wanted to improve that. And the sequencing part, we are creating a lot of different workshops, and then we're matching it to the reality of what kind of guest teachers I can find to have that Saturday or this Saturday. So that is something really interesting to look at and to create more clusters of workshops and put them in the right order to have a real good sequence of learnings. Voila, I will check up. Voila. For the last slide, we also talk a lot about the importance of repetition in learnings, the practicing part that is really important in order to learn. And we want to include that much more in our routines with our team. That's why we're talking about ownership in teams. We want to give the ownership to our pedagogical coordinator to put that in their programs, but also we want to do it with the kids and to realize that it's important to repeat things. About the class management, also we have a very, I would say, caring approach, like a gentle parenting thing. Sorry, maybe my terms are not that good in English, but I hope you see what I mean. But the idea is to have the objective that the kids know the natural consequence of their act and learn to be really attentive of their environment, to adjust their behavior if necessary, and that we want to help and to support them in doing that. That's a bit the idea. I don't know, Blanca, if you have something to add.
Thank you very much, Alexia. I always have something to add, but I think it's more important that we address the questions of the participants, because we have 2 questions at the moment. So Vesna is curious. She is asking you if you maybe have some examples of class energizers activities that are quite important to motivate young children.
Yeah, in my experience, I've always in the morning I make them dance, actually. So it depends also on the topic of the day, but it depends also on your personality, I think, and that is something we're saying to all the pedagogical coordinator, to adapt to what do you like. And if it's reading, it can be nice to talk about books and stories. In my case, it was more dancing all together, to be happy to be there and to realize it. And yeah, also we try to conceive our workshops in a very interactive way. So they kind of do not have the choice to do things. If nothing is happening, nothing will happen for nobody. So they are doing tiny things, tiny steps at the beginning, and then they're really owners of their own project, like creating an advertising for something or creating an app, like we discussed. I would say that.
So you actually lead them through the activities, so it's not possible for them not to be involved.
Yeah, totally.
They don't have to listen, but they explore on their own, right?
Yeah, totally. They have to explore, and that is our job, to find the right activities to wake up their curiosity and be adapted to their age, also to what they have discovered and what they want to discover more. So we try to adapt to the class also, I would say.
Thank you. Then we have another question by Claudia. So she is curious about the causes of the inequality of education in some, she wrote in some villages, but maybe she thought within Brussels, probably.
I would say there are a lot of different sources.
Yes.
And yeah, about the village, in our case, Brussels really not a village, and maybe that it's not helping, that it's not a village. I would say that it's not helping in keeping a more equal level of education. I would say a lot of different things are involved, like how do you say, stereotypes also on a certain type of population. Some neighborhood also are just more vulnerable, so it's difficult to put in place different initiatives. I would say that, mostly.
Okay. And then we have Yana. I can imagine how demanding is teaching in such an environment. So my question is, how do you care about yourself not to lose energy?
That's a very good one.
There on weekends as well, not just students.
Yeah.
Question,
I think that's a very good question. That is something we are working on continuously with our team, because it's really touching also for our feelings. So it can be difficult. But our advantage, I would say, is that we're working with the kids only on Saturday mostly. So we're in contact with them during the week, but we're not working with them all of the time. And we have also the time, which is not always the case in Belgium, at least in the typical classical education. We have the time to prepare also. So that is a way of teaching that is very different, that allows us to think about what we're doing, take a step back if necessary, and then enjoy the Saturday really fully. We also have a lot of trainings about class management, and about how to help and support those kids in their learnings. And yeah, I think the vision we have of it is really important. We have a vision of the kids from vulnerable place. Like, we think that they're like every kid. They want to learn, they want to be there, they're curious, they want to discover, meet other people. So if you have a positive mindset about it, can be difficult sometimes, but it really helps also.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, thank you very much. Also, the participants are greeting you and say thank you a lot.
Thank you.
So, Alexia, we will move on. We will move on to next presentation. Laura, welcome.
Hello.
Hello. So Laura will present us a case from the FLOW project. So the FLOW project is Erasmus Plus K2 project on sharing best practices across Europe. So there are a lot of countries involved in that project, I think 10 countries. And we share experience on how to teach and learn actively. And we presented different experiences with emotional intelligence teaching, with coaching, with drama teaching. And Laura will focus now on coaching and also digital tools connected with learning languages, right? So you can share your presentation and share your knowledge and wisdom with us.
Okay, so I share my presentation.
You have below the button present, and you just choose the option that is suitable for you. So you share screen.
I want to share the screen, yes. I'm going to try to share the compartir pantalla.
Yes, just take your time. If it
Sorry.
won't, if it won't go, then also
So
I
now,
can.
So now you can see my presentation.
Yes, it's here. Thank you.
Presentation. So what I'm going to introduce to you is the activity C4, which is a short-term joint staff training held in EOIS and Roque. This was held last January, and this is an activity that contributes to our project aims and our partner needs, such as knowledge how to dynamize and lead groups through emotional education and coaching. We have tried to focus on enhancing teaching learning techniques to get a high quality education and to help innovative teachers from our schools. We will try to support our students to manage emotion on language learning and make their creativity more powerful. So these are the activities we made during this week, and I'm going to present to you what did we learn during this week. So the first thing we did was in EOIS and Roque. EOIS and Roque is a school that was inaugurated in 1988, and it's a school for adults where they learn languages, and we have a really heterogeneous, we could say, learners. So nowadays we contribute with this expert, with this Alberto Ortega. He's helping us to introduce coaching and emotional education in our school. So with him, we have learned how there are differences between emotions and feelings, and how we can change our thoughts to change results in our students learning. And we have also tried to learn how to support our students and not just helping them, because we have to talk to them as if in a communication adults to adults. We on this week we also participated with Irene Rogine. Irene is a coach in education, and she introduced us the different levels of listening and dialogue. So we learn how to go from factual listening into empathetic listening, and try to arrive to a generative listening. We also learn in different ways how to make powerful questions to our students, so we can coach our students. So these two were experts invited in our schools. Although we were very concentrated on the theory, we also try to participate in cultural activities. There was a Spanish and a flamenco lesson where all the teachers from Erasmus, they could learn a little bit of Spanish, and they could enjoy by dancing flamenco. And we went to visit some places in the area. This is the time to talk about our colleague Yolanda. Yolanda is one of our teachers who are an expert of coaching. She was the first one in our school to introduce this concept, and she thinks we can be a teacher, but we have to be also a coach with our students. In her opinion, we have to create a good atmosphere with our students, and we have to spark emotion in our classes to create an environment of support and trust. She introduced us the concept of vision. This concept of vision is to analyze and to help or to support our students to find their goals on life through different activities. She presented us, for example, a vision board where she works during the whole year with the students, so they never forget which are the goals and how they want to learn and why did they came to our school to learn a language. And this is a way to support them when they think to abandon, for example, our school. Another colleague from our school is Marisa, and she introduced us a little bit of how our brain works, and we talk about emotions and memory. She introduced us to the term or the concept of win-win, because we don't have always to win, and there is no need to have always a loser or a losing team in a class. We discovered this concept with her through an activity which is called the Chocolate River, where all teachers from Erasmus, as we were a little bit experts on this emotional education, we all cooperate on a win-win base, and we did a really good activity. She also introduced us another idea, which is to change students from their chair. They have to change with whom they are sitting, and not sitting every day with the same people. So they get to know each other in a better way, and they get to know everyone in the class, and they work with different kind of people. And with her, we did some different activities with cards, color cards, likes and dislikes cards, so we could get into groups and work with different people. And she believes emotion is when there is emotion, when we learn, everything gets on our mind easily. So as even if we are adults, we have to play, we have to have fun in the class. So every activity we did with her was on a playing base. The next colleague I'm going to introduce is María José Portero. She is an expert on how to stop students dropping from our school, because she is a very creative teacher, very innovative, and she introduced us a course agreement she had made with her students. We work this activity on a real and fake commitments from students and teachers. So we could work with her, discover how she commits with her students as a teacher, and how students commit as students with her since the beginning of the year. And this is a way of getting involved in our learning and to stop students dropping from the classroom, because they get a commitment and they continue with this commitment as a group during the whole year. Another teacher that participated in our training was Juan Ortiz, and he's specialized on digitalizing lessons. He introduced us how to digitalize our lessons, not in a way, that very old way as we did with Massive, for example, when we learned English, but to develop a future classroom lab where we use flipped classroom, we design thinking, we work on a competency-based learning, a cooperative learning, we use gamification and project-based learning. He introduced to us a digital kit, really extensive, with a lot of apps that contributes to our teaching, and that can help us to do a more innovative teaching. This digital kit was about creating and publishing, reusing and creating new information, publishing, selecting and organizing. And you can see in this diapositive all the apps if you need them. So, and at the end, it was I participated also in this training with my with some pills for self-confidence in language learning. I was thinking to myself, how can I improve my classroom environment? Because I think it's very important. And how can my students learn with no stress? So I proposed some activities. So, for example, the first activity was hands, voices, and eyes. This is an activity where all the students, for example, on a first day of class in languages where everyone is very shy, they shake hands and they have to look at the eyes and say hello. Shake hands, look at others' eyes and say hello and be friendly. This is a way to create the first ice breaking in the class, and so people understand they have to look at each other. Why, for me, this is a very important activity? Because since the first day, we recognize and we get aware of others. We look at each other, we get in touch, and we address to each other. We don't sit on our chairs and we look at the teacher, and we are on our own place. We also play marionettes. This is a game where students, for example, talk to each other and they have to listen to each other. Then we are going to play marionettes where one of the students is a marionette and the other one, well, puppets, and the other one has to present this student. So in this way, we make them ask questions to their partner about personal information, for example. They get to talk to each other, but they get to talk to each other, but they pay attention to the other person. They give feedback with the face, they listen to him or her, and then they get to get into their emotions or the way of talking by the marionettes. Why this is important for me? Because we make our first step into empathy in our class. We listen to each other. We pay attention to verbal and non-verbal communication. And we listen, pay attention and rephrasing what our partners said. We also play another activity, which was Le Fil Rouge. I'm a French teacher. This is why it's in French, but I translate it in red thread. The red thread, where we were talking before, I was talking about my colleague Yolanda, who did the vision board. I do something similar, but with this activity. This is where students write their objectives for the year. I did this time with the teachers, which were our aims for this project, and we wrote our aims. Then I took all the aims and I put that red thread on the floor. I divided the class, and they have to go in one side of the class if the objective I was explaining was their objective or not. Why this activity is important? Because we recognize our own and group challenges. For example, I write my own aim, but I listen to others' aims. And if I have the same aim, I talk with my body. If I cannot talk with my voice because I'm a bit shy, so I get a position with my body. I go into the left or into the right of the red threads according to my opinion. Then I can make the students talk about why did they make this decision. The last activity we did was the empathy wall, Mural de la Empatía in Spanish. And this was, we put a really big paper on the floor and we have to draw ourselves. But we have to draw ourselves, including what is positive and what is negative about ourselves. Then we turn around the class and we introduce ourselves. But there is a new thing that other people give support to other people drawings by drawing, and then they explain to the class why they introduce this support to, for example, one student, or in this case, it was to one teacher. Why this is important? Because we start to talk about our feelings, we start to introduce ourselves, and also students start to learn how to support and not help other students by coaching them. So how these training pills improve my group environment and teamwork? And how do they motivate language learning and reduce our students' anxiety or stage of fright? In my opinion, we get to know each other in the class. They help to create a sense of group. We start our philosophy of a safe environment in the class where everyone listens to each other, everyone looks at each other, and we get into relation with everyone. When it is difficult to communicate with our voice because we are shy, we have a bad day or something, we start with other methods. For example, looking at each other, touching by body language, or even by drawing. And then, if we can, we use our voice and we start to communicate. So in this way, we get aware of listening to each other and supporting others. So thank you for your participation, and this was my presentation.
Thank you very much. Laura, do you think about the digital kit that you mentioned? Is it open? Can we have an access to it?
I asked the teacher to share with me, but if you need it, I asked him for permission and we can share it. But I need his permission.
I thought it's really rich.
But I think it's going to be open because we have project web page that you can visit, the Flow project web page, and everything we create is on the web page. So these presentations are going to be on the presentation. So I don't think we need the permission. It's going to be public. It's true.
That's good then. Yeah.
So
let's go.
Let's visit our project web page, or if not, you can. I can send to you. Okay.
I will put the web page into the comments. So now to questions. Olympia is interested. So what is the impact of the results of this project in your organization?
Well, the impact is a really big question. So, for example, first impact, we could say, like in a little way, is on our teachers, because we share practices within teachers. Then is on other schools' teachers, because we have share many teachers from the nine partners. So there is an impact on other teachers. But for example, as when we use these techniques with our students, the impact is going to be in our students in the class, and if they learn to support each other, these multiplicate, because they can use it in their lives. So I think it's a really big impact to get to teach adults emotional education and coaching, because it's something we didn't learn when we were young in the schools.
Yes, that's definitely. Another question is, do you check if the trainers use effectively the tools that they learned during the project?
Okay, so for example, in our school, what we do is every Friday or every other Friday, we share practices within teachers, because we are not every week really creative, really innovative. So each week, a teacher is volunteer to share the best practices of the week. So in this way, we know if someone in the school is doing something, and if it worked with them. And if you didn't do anything during the week, if you see one of your colleagues doing it, you get motivated, you get a little bit more creative. So this is the way we don't do it compulsory, but we do it in a team base.
That's also very good, because it's not a pressure on something, but you just do it spontaneously. Another question is, do you collect any kind of feedback? How do they manage the stress in the hostile environment? If there is something, if something happens.
Students do a questionnaire, at least 2 per year, to show how they feel in the school, how everything is working, if they are doing well or not, if they have problems. There is many questions on this questionnaire. So we do it on a daily basis in the class. Normally, there is not a hostile environment. If teachers in a school are trying to get like how do you say, to work on emotions, it's difficult to find a hostile environment. But if there would be, we would know in class, or either by the questionnaire.
Okay, thank you very much. I also like the expression training pill that you use several times.
It's like little pills, not a lot.
Yes, but they are very important. Yeah.
Thank you.
Laura, thank you very much for your informative presentation. We will still stay in the flow project, but we will move to Patrizia now. Patrizia, welcome.
Welcome to you again. Good afternoon.
Yes, again, Patrizia is coming from DANTE, Croatia. She will present easy drama learning.
Yes.
Now we just need your slides, which
yes. So, is it okay? Yes.
Yes.
You see. Okay. So, once more time, good afternoon to everybody. I am really impressed to have 200 participants listening to this event.
446.
400. Maybe for me it's better not to know this number, because it's very difficult to talk about drama teaching, learning, without having actively people, without sharing experience with people in the same place. But this is also a challenge, and thanks to the difficult period that we had these previous 3 years with the pandemic, we became more familiar with this tool, with digital communication and with digital learning, and so we can also be in a way able to talk about drama in this digital way. So as I said before, I am from Rijeka, from Croatia. You can see where is Rijeka. So first, where is Croatia, then where is Rijeka. We are the third biggest town in Croatia, and we are on the sea. We are on the coast. So Adult Education Institution DANTE is an institution that was founded in 1991. And first we started as a language school, especially for Italian language as foreign language, and this is why the name is DANTE. Then in 30 years, we extended our activity, and today we are working in 3 big departments. One is the language department, the second one is the Erasmus project department, and the third department that is growing in a way is the vocational education department, and all these departments are for adult. So the title of my presentation is maybe Easy Drama Learning. It's not a method, it's a title, but this Easy Drama Learning is based on drama pedagogy. This is a new way, if we can say, a new way of pedagogy, that the definition is from 2016, and it was, in a way, it started in the USA, so in the Anglo-Saxon environment. And this is a pedagogy that is based on active and dramatic approaches to engage learners in working, in learning, and especially working on the emotions. And during the whole day, today, we shared the experience how the emotions are really very, very important, and how you will learn better if you feel well, if you are in a good mood with emotion. Mm-hmm. Then we can say that it's a collection of tools. It is a method, very simple. You will see, I hope that I will be able to share with you the main things, the main topics of this method, but in a special way, it is a collection of tools based on word, games, role-playing, and dialogues. And everything what we can do with the word. Especially it helps learners to engage easily in the work, and then it's very good to use and to create a good atmosphere and a good learning environment. And here we have the keywords of this method. First of all, we have to underline that the goal of this method, it's not a performance. So we don't use it because we want at the end of our activity to make a performance with some people that are coming to see us. Some people make the mistake that when heard the word drama, we mean, we have to act, we have to go on the stage, and we have to show our performance. No, this is not the goal of this method, but the goal is to learn better, and for us teachers to teach better, and to work on the emotion of our learners. First of all, it is a guided method because the leader, so the teacher, it's guided the activity, and in fact with this guided we work on imagination and on reflection of our learners upon the experiences. So guided work on the experiences and on the emotion. When can we use this drama method, drama teaching method? We can use it in each part of the lesson, but we have also to be careful that it's not good to make the whole lesson, the whole teaching activity with our student based on drama teaching and drama methods. It's better to use it in some part. of the lesson. You can use it for the introduction as an icebreaker. Then you can use it when you introduce some new topics. You introduce when you can repeat, when you can explore, when you can improve, and also you can use it also when you can check if when you make the evaluation. It's also a good method for make a good class monitoring. And then in which topic can we, in which subjects can we use drama? I am sure that when you heard drama teaching, you would suppose that this is a good method for language classes, for literature, maybe for history. I can say that you can use it, this method also in mathematics class, in scientific topics, so in all the activities that you are doing with learners. You can use it also during a staff meeting, during an activity with your colleagues. And it's also very good if you have in your learners group, if you have some conflict or some difficulties in their communication, it's also very good to use it and to apply. Then, which skills we developed with this method? First of all, communication skills, language and communication, then creativity and imagination, collaboration and problem solving and critical thinking skills. Another thing that I am sure that you will that you had the association while you are listening to this presentation is that this is definitely a good and a possible method for young learners, for children of primary school and for adolescents. In fact, it is, but it's not true that it's not a good method with adults. You can do it also with adults. Of course, younger learners are more open to this way of activity, but also the adults can do it if you as a teacher like this method, and of course if you can be able to feel the group when they are prepared to accept this way of method. Now I will share with you very, very few photos. These pictures are taken when, as Laura presented the activity that we had in San Roque in January. I will share with you 3 pictures from the activity that we had last year in January, also in Rijeka. And as you see, it was during the pandemic time, so we were obliged to use the masks. But this is not what I want to share with you, but just to share the environment. As you can see, when we apply drama teaching method, there are no tables, so the class is without. So it's better not to have a lot of furniture, and you can do it whatever in the school, so in the formal class, but also in the common places, and we are very flexible with the arrangement of the environment of the place. And now, just let's go try. Now I would try to do. It would be better if we would be all in the same place, so you can really do it and I can really see you, but we can't do it. So I will try to give you some instructions and some ideas how can we use in practice this drama teaching method. Please just try to imagine your class. Don't be afraid if you are not a language teacher and so on. Just try to imagine, relax, lie on your chair or on your sofa. I don't know, I suppose that you are now at home. So, and let's try to imagine how could it be in the real environment with other people. So this method is based on words and movements. And of course, a very important part are the sounds, not only music, but all the sounds that we can produce with our body and in the place. And words, movement, and sounds are very important for the communication based on emotion. So we have to wake up our emotion. I am sure that during your activity with your learners, you used to divide them in groups. So the famous group work. When we are applying the drama teaching method, we don't want to say to our learners, let's go and work in groups. No, we will divide them in families. And we, as teacher, we have to define before the activity how many families are we going to have in our group and how many members will each family have. My suggestion is that at least it's good to have at least 3 families, but not more than 5. And also in the members of the families, it's better to be not at least 3, but not more of 5, 6. Of course, if you have a big group, you can have more families and you have more members in the family. But in this time, you have to plan the time and you have to consider that you will need more time for making this activity. And if you have a big family, be aware that there will definitely one member of the family that will not be so active. And then what is very important for drama teaching method, that you as a trainer or teacher, you have to define the criteria for making a family. And the criteria can be the initial letter of the name. So you learners, which your name start with A, you are one family. Or maybe haircut, glasses, clothes, year of birth, some other, just a criteria, a very unusual criteria, and a criteria that makes them to interact and to be in contact. This activity has to last 5 minutes, not more. Then, so when we have defined the family, so each family needs a name, a biography, a history. So the people from the same family that have some in common, they have to develop, working in the family, to develop the story, a history, a background. But how? Picking something from a box or picking something from the environment, from the class where they are, just to take some subjects, some inputs, starting from which they could develop their family, the history, and the biography. When they have developed this biography, they have to share the biography and they have to present themselves to other participants. So, in this way, the families have to interact, and they have to interact using only 3 minutes each. It's very important that we fixed that each family can speak only 3 minutes, and the other families have to listen and to be very careful to know them better. Then, when we did this presentation, now we worked, until now, we worked on the emotion. Now, the group, the family is well settled, they are in a good mood, so they can start with making an activity. And this activity will be a problem. They have a problem. And for defining the problem, you as a teacher or you as a trainer will give them some keywords that are related to the topic that you are working on or related to the subject you are working on. So until now, we worked on the emotion and to make them feel very good. Now you are working on knowledge, on developing skills, independently which subject you are teaching. And now the family with the keywords, they have to set up the problem, to describe the problem, to define the problem. And for this time, for this topic, they have 10 minutes. Then, after that, they have to share with the other families the problem, because they have the problem and they have to find the way how to solve this problem. And in this moment, sharing the problem, only 3 minutes, then families discuss how to share how to solve the problem, and then each family present to the problem family the solution. But the solution will not be explained by talking or by drawing. The solution can be explained by a pantomime. So this is now we can stop. This could be one way of activity, but also we can continue with some other activities. What I want to share with you is that it seems some colleagues of mine, when I talk about drama teaching, they think that this is it's very easy. You can improvise. You can do. Learners can do what they want, and so on and so on. Apparently, in fact, this method needs very clear rules. You have to, you as a trainer or teacher, you must give to our learners very clear inputs. And another very important moment is that each activity has defined the time. So time management is very, very important. And this is why in each slide I put in another color 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 3 minutes. Of course, this time mustn't become a stressful moment, but it's very important that we define the time and that we, as a trainer, we respect the time. And then, with all this activity, we really work on the emotion. And my experience can prove, with my experience, I can prove that really when my students, my learners feel well, thanks to this activity, they also learned better, and especially in easier and in a way, I can say, in a permanent way. Of course, we can't do only this moment. We have to combine with this moment only also our traditional methods, especially in language. So, and this is all from me from now. And I would like to finish. Thank you for your time. Not thank you for attention, but especially thank you for your time that you have decided to share with me and with us.
Thank you, Patrizia. You said in the beginning that it's very difficult to talk about drama without human touch, but you made it really good with your voice.
Thank you. And in English. English is not my language, but I do my best.
Oh my God, don't say that.
Okay.
So let's go to questions. You already mentioned some, let's say, some rules regarding drama teaching. And here is one doubt from one of the participants. So do you consider the fact that some people are not able to open their souls? They are maybe a little bit shy. Yes. So how to open those sincere emotions in such cases?
Thank you for this question. This is a very important moment to consider. First of all, you as a teacher, you need to like this. If you as a teacher, you don't like drama, you don't like these tools or this method, it's better not to do it. Mm-hmm. So this is, in my opinion, this is the first rule. Maybe somebody will be shocked, will say, why she's talking about this? If you don't like it, don't do it. Don't do it because somebody told you, do it because it's a good method, and so on and so on. You can try, but if you don't like, don't do it. If you like it, it will be definitely easier for you, but you have to be very, very empathic with your group and to feel if they can accept. If you have in the group somebody that couldn't accept this and that this would be stressful for him, it's better not to force, but but you have to try. First of all, when you have a new group of learners, in my opinion, it's not good to start with this method. It's better to start, because adults, when they come to the school to learn, they are ready that they will work with paper, book, notebook, and this classic way. So, in my opinion, it's better to first to taste your group and then to introduce step by step these methods. Of course, the pantomime is very difficult, so you can't do the pantomime at the very beginning. You need to know the group, and especially the group need to trust to you. I started this. I don't know if I have time to share something more. I started this. I started to work with this 10 years ago with a group of adult learners. We started together when they were B1 Italian language, and I led them until C2. But with these people, I met, so we were together 4 years, twice a year, and they were very constantly, they were 7 in the group, but in fact, at the end, we could do everything. I also managed, but they trust me, and I trust them. At the end, I had also a man that we were sewing puppets. So it was something that when I started at the beginning, I thought, oh, it would be impossible. But things simply came. You have to try, to experiment, and to do what you as a teacher feel that it would be good for the group.
Yeah, that's very good, I think, take out from your presentation with any method. I think the teacher really needs to feel comfortable and not use it because it's modern or something. Yeah. Thank you, Patrizia. We have more questions, but maybe I will choose just one.
Okay.
Maybe can you share another example? How do you use creativity and imagination skills in the classroom?
For example, the continuation of this activity would be that so the family share the problem, solve the problem, and then one member of the family leave the family and go to another family. It's something also that happens in the real family. So we leave. So then to restart the process of knowing each other, of reflecting how can a new member change the dynamic of the group. Also, another very interesting method of using drama teaching method is that it's not a completely drama teaching. It's also more connected with music. Is to find a very popular song, very easy. Not a very heavy song, but a song with a few words. Of course, this is typical language exercise, and then to listen to them, to recognize the words, and then to explain the words with movement.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Patrizia, for your input. It was very valuable, and have a successful work onward.
Thank you very much, and thank you for your time.
We are going to Andrea Maksimović now. Actually, her presentation is a little bit connected with drama teaching because she has a presentation on gamification in adult learning. So let's see what she prepared for us. But Andrea, you can share the screen because you also have the presentation on Geniali. Welcome once again. Yeah.
Thank you, Blanca. I hope I have successfully shared my screen. So
yeah, it is here.
Great. So today I'm going to present the training that Adult Education Institution Studium organized in scope of the same project, the Flow Erasmus Plus project. The training was held in Osijek, Croatia, but these are also some of the practices and methods that we use in our everyday work, in our classrooms with our learners. So we can start. I have already introduced myself in the beginning, so I believe that we can skip this part, but I would like to tell you a bit more about our institution. So Studium currently operates with centers in 5 different cities across the country. You can see here which cities these are. And our main activities include development and implementation of adult education programs. These programs include reskilling and upskilling programs, different courses, trainings, academies, workshops, and they're all mostly meant for adult students, but we work with different age groups also. Also, we are very active in the field of EU project development and implementation. We have around 30 finished and around 17 ongoing projects, and Erasmus Plus Project Flow is just one of them. Also, we always try to keep our methods innovative, to try something new with our learners, and this is also how we introduce this concept of gamification into our work. So to start out, I would like to share this quote with you because I find it very inspiring. It says, "We don't stop playing because we grow old. We grow old because we stop playing." It was sort of a motto during the week of our training in Osijek, but it's also a motto that we follow in our institution, in our everyday work. So I think this is a good beginning to my presentation. Why we believe that it's important to introduce games into the learning process. It is because games are basically as old as the humankind. So the history of games dates back to the ancient human past, and they were an integral part of all cultures and one of the oldest forms of human social interaction. Uh, Games sort of capture different ideas and worldviews of the present, and they help us to pass them on to future generations. They can be cultural and social bonding events, and at the same time, a powerful teaching tools. When it comes to our classrooms and games in classrooms in general, there are 2 ways to introduce games into your work with students. The first one is gamification. This means that we apply game elements into non-game contexts. For example, this can be introducing leadership boards or some sort of points system or badges to your students. And then the other approach is game-based learning. Game-based learning would mean that we are actually playing a game in order to reach a specific learning objective. And we like to use both. And during our training, we also included both of these approaches. And also from our experience, why gamifying the classroom, the adult education classroom, is that important? It's because it can assist cognitive development, even in adults. It increases motivation because it gives the learners the opportunity to be engaged in their own learning process, to be active. It puts them in the center of attention in the learning process. Also, games are something that is very familiar and intuitive to all of us. No one had to teach us how to play. It's something that we all did before, something that we do throughout all of our lives. And also, gamifying the classroom means that we personalize the learning process. And this is especially important when working with adults, the personalized approach. So one of the activities that we oftentimes use and that our learners respond to very well are the virtual escape rooms developed by the Genially tool. So escape rooms became quite popular in the last couple of years, and we were very happy actually when we discovered this tool and when we started using it in our classrooms. There are a couple of tips on how to create those virtual escape rooms, but I will also show I will show an example to you so you can see what they actually look like. First of all, it's important to pay attention to the design. You should try to create an environment which is immersive for your learners and something that is engaging and interesting to them. So the design of the escape room is very important. Also, Genially offers a number of different interactive elements in order to create puzzles and riddles that the learners need to solve in order to go to another level of the game or to unlock the escape room completely. So for this purpose, we often create quiz-like questions, but you can also use the drag and drop option or click and release. You will see more about that later on. Also, we like to use the password protection feature. And there is a possibility to add different clues to the game. That way you can make the game more challenging or less challenging for your learners. It depends on the age group and it depends on their previous knowledge. And we use these digital escape rooms oftentimes when we want to revise some of the previously learned lessons, but it can also be a great tool for learning new materials. So here you can see one of the examples. This is the digital or virtual escape room that my colleague has developed for the purpose of the flow training. So you can see what it looks like. We always have a little introduction for our learners. And as you can see, there are 3 missions in this escape room, and the learners need to go through all of the missions in order to complete it. The escape room consists of questions, and the questions are, of course, based on something that was previously learned throughout the lessons. You can see that if you make a mistake, you get an answer like this. You can go back, try again, and so on. After you have completed one mission, you get the first clue. And in the end, with the help of those clues, you will discover a password which will help you to go on with the other missions. So you can explore more about that on your own later on, of course. Then another activity that we have done during our training and something that proved to be very good for our learners in general is the scavenger hunt. So gamification is not limited only to the classrooms. There are plenty of activities that can be done outdoors, even with adult learners. This type of scavenger or treasure hunts are very good because they promote teamwork and collaborative skills in learners. They are even a great team building method. They also encourage problem-solving skills, and they give the learners an opportunity to learn in a natural way and in a natural environment. This is also interesting because we can combine or blend different sorts of tools. Physical and digital tools can be included. So some of the tasks that the participants need to fulfill in order to find the treasure can include the use of digital tools such as Google Maps, different search engines. For example, they need to Google certain terms to find a location in the city or to discover the answer to some sort of a puzzle. And they also sometimes use their phone cameras if the tasks demand it. So here you can see the scavenger hunt that we organized as part of the Flow project in the city of Osijek. And it was used in order for our guests. Many of them were in Osijek for the first time ever. Even some Croatian participants were there for the first time. It was an opportunity for them to learn about the city, a little bit about the history of the city, and some important landmarks and monuments, important parts of the city. And through this scavenger hunt, they have completed all of the tasks and they have learned a lot. And from our experience, this helps with the retention of knowledge for the learners, because once they gain their knowledge in such an active way from their own participation, this knowledge tends to stick with them. They do not forget it that easily. And here you can just see a couple of pictures of our participants having fun during their scavenger hunt. But there is also a possibility to go fully digital and to have a digital scavenger or digital treasure hunt. And for this purpose, we use the Action-Bound app. So it is an app for playing digital interactive scavenger hunts. And those multimedia-based hunts are called bounds. So bounds can be played with the use of GPS locations, but also with the use of QR codes. Those bounds can have different interactive options, such as maps, compass features, pictures, quizzes, videos, and so much more. So what we like to do with Action Bound and what we did during the training is that we usually divide the group into smaller groups, which then compete against each other. And there is a set of QR codes which are hidden all over the building. So each group needs to find the QR code, they need to scan it, and once they scan it through the Action Bound app, a set of missions opens for them. So as you can see here in the picture, we had 3 different missions during our training. It's the geography and culture, Croatia, and the fast round, where the learners were time limited. Every time they scan one of these QR codes that they find in different places, a set of questions opens up. It is sort of a quiz that they need to solve. They need to get the questions right, and then they can pass on to the next level and next mission. And also some of the tasks are not on their phones. They are not in the app, but they include actual physical tasks in the classroom. For example, they need to write a poem or they need to draw something. So once again, it's a mixture of physical movement, of actual writing, drawing, and so on, and digital tools. And we believe that this is a good blend. It is good to always have some sort of a balance. And then finally, as you all know, there's a variety of online tools which can help you in gamification of your learning materials for your students. So we just chose this one. It's called Froggy Jump, and it is something that we like to use also with all age groups. It is an interactive gamification tools. And in it, you can create questions and answers, combining text, audio files, pictures, animated GIFs, and many other options are available. And we especially like to use it in our foreign language classes because it helps our students to learn definitions, collocations, articles, and just expand their vocabulary in general. So here I can also show you the quiz that we created during our training. Maybe when you see it, you will think that it is meant for children, but it's successful and popular also with adults. So as you can see, you have a quiz, you need to write that in order to keep the game going. And once you make a mistake, this happens. So the goal is to save the froggy, and we had quite a nice laugh while doing this. So if you also want to add more gamification into your classroom and try some of these techniques, we just have a couple of tips from our own experience, from maybe the mistakes that we have made in the beginning. First of all, it's very important that gamification and games in the classrooms always have a clear aim and a clear learning outcome. So we should not use gamification just for the sake of using it, or just to use it because it's a buzzword and maybe a popular approach these days. It should always be clear to ourselves, but also our learners, why we are using the game. Also, we need to be ready that a gamified classroom is not a quiet one, so there needs to be a lot of student interaction and a lot of productive chatter. Also, when working with adults, we should give them a level of autonomy. So, of course, games have rules. It is an integral part of every game, the rules, but we should also allow our learners to shape those rules on their own, to maybe change them a little bit in the process of learning. We should not be too strict about it. Of course, feedback and encouragement is always welcome. We all need it, no matter how old or young we are. And also, we should be careful about the competitive spirit in the classroom. It is nice to engage the students, motivate them to have a competition, but at the same time, we need to be careful not to go overboard and to just keep the positive atmosphere in the classroom and to know what our ultimate goal is. So when it comes to gamification, this is it from our institution today.
Thank you very much, Andrea, for your really nice cases and suggestions of activities. Okay, just now I think that questions went somewhere and I don't know where. Okay, I will try to find them. If not, then yeah. I think it was one question, but I don't remember now, and I also don't see it within the comments. So yeah, but there are very, very great feedbacks from the participants. So for instance, Theodora is saying, thanks a lot for gamification tips, very necessary in avoiding using games just for the sake of using with no grounded aims. Yeah, that's really important. Okay, so once again, all the presentations are available here. You can see it's a Facebook group, Pan-European Conference on Digital Education. You can download them and follow them later. The next Pan-European Conference on Digital Education is in the end of March, 3rd of March. You can already apply for the conference, either as a presenter, either as a listener. We are looking for presenters on different innovative teaching methods, especially on digital tools. So if you have an innovative teaching practice, please take your chance and present it to other colleagues. We would be grateful for your experiences. The link to the certificates is in the chat and also in the video description. The link is active for 24 hours and then we close it. So thank you very much for today's event. It was a pleasure to host all of the presentation and see you next month. Bye.